In this video, we're going to talk about the Toyo RTs. I've run them for the last 65,000 kilometers. So here's an unbiased review, the pros, the cons, the good and the bad. From our spectacular campsites on the most remote of tracks to the workshop and everything in between, your next episode of Good Offroad Adventures is just seconds away. G'day everyone, it's Graham from Good Offroad Adventures. Welcome back to another video. So Toyo RTs, I've run them for the last 65 to 70,000 Ks. I've had them on for fraction over 2 years. I got them in September 2018, just before the four-wheel drive show, along with the rims. And it's now end of April, start of May 2020. So I've run them through a couple summers, a couple winters, and yeah, we should be able to give you a pretty good unbiased review as to my thoughts on them. So the good, the bad, and the otherwise. Let's start talking about how they handle on-road, and then we'll talk about how they go off-road. So on-road, they were very quiet when I first got them. Like every tyre, as they wear out, they develop a little bit of noise. But in my experience, they're still a lot quieter than the previous set of tyres I ran, which were the Kumos. And they're probably on par with the BFG KOs, the all-terrains that I had when I first bought the car. So yeah, they are very quiet on-road. How they handle dry on-road is remarkable. Yeah, they go really well. Corner really well. I think the car's going to flip over before the tyres understeer or anything in dry bitumen. On wet bitumen, they are probably equally as impressive, but as with all heavy vehicles on wet bitumen, you do need to be a little bit cautious. They handle wet bitumen a lot better than my Kumo MT51s that I had before, and they handle wet bitumen a hell of a lot better than the BFG KOs I had. Now, any of you that have driven on BFG KOs on wet bitumen know that feels like you're on an ice rink. Yeah, these things are a lot more sure-footed and planted in the wet. So yeah, big props to Toyo for that. Yeah, how they handle gravel really well. The MT51s did feel a little bit skatey on loose pea gravel at times, but these feel a lot more planted. Wet gravel, all tyres generally handle pretty good. Like I find wet gravel has more grip than dry gravel, especially in WA. It's just I think the nature of it, unless you get a lot of clay on the top of the road, and then that's more like mud, and that at speed it's slippery. So yeah, dry and wet gravel, they're really good performers. They don't tend to pick up a lot of stones and flick them out on dry gravel, and they certainly don't hold a lot of stones in the tread itself. So they manage, they manage to flick those stones out quite well and sort of clear themselves. So yeah, in that regard, pretty good. How do they go in mud and that sort of terrain? Quite well. I've probably got more mud experience with these than I do with the MT51s. And yeah, not once have I felt like I needed a more aggressive mud terrain tyre, let's say. There's certainly been probably 2 or 3 occasions where a more aggressive mud terrain tyre might have been nice, but it's literally only been for like a 100-metre patch. And it's been when I've been travelling on like an outback gravel road in WA that's like a high-speed road doing like 50, 60k an hour, where there's been a lot of rain, the road has a high clay content in it and not a lot of gravel or stones, and it gets pretty slippery. That being said, I've also been in cars with full-on mud terrain tyres that in the same set of circumstances have also been slipping around. So I don't think it's you know, a magic bullet that a mud terrain tyre will fix. I think it's just one of those things that even in four-wheel drive, when you get the right amount of rain mixed with the right conditions on the road, it can just turn really slippery, and that just comes down to then driver concentration and driving to the conditions. I don't think any tyre is going to necessarily help you or fix that for you. How they go on like your slow technical mud terrain climbs, all the trips and the conditions that I've put them through like that, I've been really impressed by. I've never, like I said, never wanted for a more aggressive mud terrain tyre. They've been, for me, a really, really good mix between aggressive all-terrain for your off-road work, but also maintaining a good sort of mix with driving on road and on bitumen to get to your off-road destinations. So yeah, in that regard, the Toyos get a pretty good review from me. Well, quickly touching on how the Toyo RTs go in sand, they've really impressed me. As with any tyre in sand, it really comes down to running the correct tyre pressure. Because the Toyo RTs have a slightly stiffer sidewall, I found I let just a little bit more PSI out than normally. Gets a really good footprint, and it gives me absolutely no issues in sand. So yeah, honestly, they're great off-road, on gravel, in mud, on sand. They really are a great hybrid or jack-of-all-trades tyre. Good on-road and good off-road. Let's look at how they've worn. As I said at the beginning, I'm somewhere between 65 and 70,000 Ks on them now. So they've had a pretty good run. I've tried to rotate them every 5,000, and if I haven't rotated them every 5, I've rotated them every 10. And yeah, so far so good. They've performed flawlessly. I haven't staked any, so their durability has been phenomenal. Again, I've put the car through the Variety Bash, which is what staked my last Kumo tyre, and I've done heaps of off-road work with it. Beach, mud, rocks, gravel, high speed, slow speed, all of that. And 70,000 Ks, they've performed above expectation. They're probably somewhere between half and 2/3 worn. So there's, let's safely say a third of the tread remaining. That's across all 6. So I'll comfortably get 100,000 Ks from this set of tyres, which, considering the weight of the car and the work that it does, is really good going. I actually think I might even get closer to probably 120,000 Ks from this set. In terms of damage sustained from the driving that we've done with it, 2 tyres have a little bit of chipping on them. Now I'm going to give you a close-up to show you that damage. And that came from a specific trip that I did with them, which was the Variety Bash, and that was in August 2019. There was a lot of high-speed gravel. We were filming the event, so we've got to stop, set up, film, then jump back in the car, move forward to the front of the event again, and then repeat, film, move forward, film. So we're driving the car a lot harder than all the other participants, and so as a result, on the high-speed gravel, these things did suffer two tyres suffered a little bit of chipping. I blame myself for it, I don't blame the tyres. I wasn't able to lower the tyre pressures every time we went onto gravel because it takes too long to stop, lower the tyres. Then you get to a piece of bitumen and you've got to stop, air them back up. So I just ran them at my standard 42, 40 PSI highway pressure the whole time, even off-road on the gravel and all that. And so I believe a combination of that, and obviously the combination in the way in which I was having to drive the car to film the event, the two rear tyres, which again have the most weight on them in my case, they were the two that chipped. And it's not a lot of chipping, it's just a small amount. They're now being rotated to the front of the car. All in all, we had 4 tyres on the ground, only 2 of them suffered a minor little bit of chipping, and that's over 70,000 Ks. So, I probably said it in my last tyre review. If you look after the tyres by driving to the appropriate conditions, airing your tyres down at the appropriate time and to the appropriate tyre pressure for the terrain that you're going to drive on, your tyres are going to look after you. Same goes for obviously rotating them, getting them balanced and all of that. If you look after your tyres, they're going to look after you. How the Toyos looked after me, as you can probably tell, it's a positive review. It's a big thumbs up from me. I'm really impressed with the Toyo RTs. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get them again next time. They're definitely in contention because I've been that happy with them. But I might also be looking to try something else. We'll just see what pops up. I'm certainly in no rush to replace them. I'm going to definitely take these all the way out to 100,000 K mark. But yeah, there's been a lot of questions, and I felt with all the driving we've done on the car, all the conditions that we've put it through, and the time and the Ks that we've done, I could give you a good unbiased review on the Toyo RTs. So yeah, if you want to see where we've taken the RTs and all the conditions we've put them through, you can check out my Instagram here. I suggest if you found the video useful, go down, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button and follow us so you can see where else we're going to take them. Anyway, you know the deal. Stay safe on the tracks and trails, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.